Good day, my name is Margarita Clark and I will be presenting my lesson for grade 8 Economic Management Sciences. The topic is the economy and markets, and today's lesson topic is types of markets, goods and services. I'll start off with the do now activity, which is 5 minutes. When the learners come into the class, they'll take their books out, they'll sit at their desks, and I will ask them to please answer the following 2 questions, which will be on the board already. The first one is, what is the difference between a product and a service? The second one is, can you name a service you or your family recently paid for? I will give them 5 minutes to complete this this activity, and I will be walking around the class monitoring whether or not they are doing it and whether or not they need any assistance, which they shouldn't because the instruction is quite simple. After 5 minutes, after they've all finished their activity, I'll be moving on to the next section of my lesson, which is the I do section. The I do section is, I will be explaining to the learners what goods and services are. Firstly, I will say that goods and services is an important part of any economy. We all use goods and we all use services. I'm sure every single one of you students has used goods and services before in your life. The official definition for goods is physical items that are produced and sold to satisfy people's needs. For example, a hair care product, clothing, food. I'm sure all of you have used all of these products. The definition for a service: activities or tasks that people do for others in exchange for payments. For example, haircuts, taxi rides and tutoring. Most of, if not all of you, have been to the salon and you've had your hair done, whether it be a cut, a perm, a colour, highlights, braiding. All of those are considered services. Most of you have used taxis to get to and from where you need to go to. Some of you use taxis and taxi services to get to and from school. Tutoring, same as education and teaching. If you're battling with a subject, you can always get a tutor to help you study, and that tutor will be providing you with a service. I will be moving on to the next section of my lesson. The we do section of the lesson, which is 15 minutes long. During the we do section of my lesson, I will be playing a game with the students. I am going to, after asking everybody if they clearly understand what the difference between a good and a service is, we're going to play a game. We will say, I am going to write something on the board, and you will tell me whether or not it is a good or a service. For example, bread. If I go to the shop and I buy a bread from Pick n Pay, is that bread a good or a service? Yes, it's a good. You're correct. How about if I go to the corner hairdressing salon and I have a haircut? Would the salon be providing me with a good or a service? They'll be providing me with a service. Correct. What about I drop my phone and the screen breaks? Now I have to take my phone to a phone repair shop and they have to replace the screen. Have they provided me with a service or have they provided me with a good? That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one because they have done both. The cell phone provider provided me with a good by giving me a new screen on my phone, and they've provided me with a service because they fixed my phone that was broken. How about shoes? I go to Woolworths and I buy myself a new pair of shoes. Those shoes, are they a good or a service? Yes, they're a good, correct. Here's another tricky one. Mr. Delivery. Mr. Delivery. I go on my app when I get home this afternoon. I want to buy lunch. I'm hungry, but I'm too lazy to go to McDonald's. So I go onto my phone's app, my Mr. D Delivery app, and I order my McDonald's for lunch. And however long it takes, beep beep, there's the driver. He's brought me my McDonald's. Now, is that a good or a service? Because Mr. D, the driver, brought me my food. Okay? That is a service. But he also brought me my McDonald's meal, which is a good. So you can see that sometimes goods and services can be both. You can have both. So it can be a good or a service, or it can be a combination of the two. We will now be doing what is called a Venn diagram, for those of you who have not done it, to explain this more clearly. But first, if I can hold something in my hand, is it a good or a service? For example, I take this whiteboard marker. Now I'm going to sell whiteboard markers to all the teachers in the school for 5 rand a whiteboard marker. Is this whiteboard marker a good or a service? It's a good, because I can hold it in my hand. I can physically touch it. I can take it home. So it is a good. If it was a service, for example, I'm very stressed out. It's exam times. I am going to go for a nice relaxing massage. That massage, can I take that massage home? No, I can't. Can I physically touch that massage? No, I can't. So that would be a service. Okay? So, now we are going to move on to our next section, which is our Venn diagram. I have filled in half the Venn diagram for you. I want you to help me finish the Venn diagram. I want you to help me complete this. So I have now written down 3 goods. I have got food, I have got medicine, I have got a computer. And under services, I've got a waiter, I have a nurse, and I have an internet provider. I want to fill in the section that brings these two together, something that brings them together that is both a good and a service. Okay? So, food is a good because I can physically hold it. I can take my takeaway and I can go home, or I can take my leftovers, my little doggy bag, and I can take it home, so I can touch it and I can take it with me. The waiter that brings me my food, he is delivering a service. I can't take his service physically home. I cannot touch his service. However, what would a restaurant be? Because a restaurant makes my food. The restaurant employs the waiter that brings me my food. A restaurant is both a service and a good provider. Now, medicine. I can go and buy headache tablets, cough mixture, vitamins, all those things. I can physically touch it. I can take it home. It is a good. How about a nurse? I my little sister, who's a tiny little baby, to the clinic to go and have her inoculations, or I go to hospital and the nurse comes and she takes my temperature and she puts a drip in me. She's providing a service. Now, pharmacy. If I go to Hillcrest Pharmacy, which is just down the road here in Selcourt, I can go and buy my medicine there, so they're providing me with a good. But they also have a clinic, so I can take my little sister to Hillcrest Pharmacy, where the nurse is, and she can give her inoculations. So a pharmacy would be considered the provider of goods and services. Next, computers is a good. I can physically hold onto a computer. I can go to Incredible Connection in the mall, buy a computer, hold it and take it home. An internet provider. An internet provider provides a service. I can't physically touch the internet. I can't physically take it home. It's everywhere. The internet provider provides a service. However, Google can provide both, because Google is providing answers. So a Venn diagram works like this. It's a circle. We're circling all of this because it's goods and these are goods and services. And these are our services. But they also provide both. So it's a circle here for this, but it overlaps with this one. And it's a circle here for this, but it overlaps on this one. Okay. Now we are going to move on to our next section, which is the You Do section. Okay? You Do section, you're going to have to do your activities. In your books, I'm going to hand out some activity sheets. You will be doing your activity sheets in your books. I want you guys to classify 10 items that are goods or services. That's on your little handout that I will be giving you. And I want you to draw your own little Venn diagram, a mini version with just one good, one service, and one combination of the two. So you draw your own little mini Venn diagram that shows this. While you're busy with that, I will be walking around the class. If you guys have any questions up until now, please raise your hand. You're welcome to ask questions. I will answer them to the best of my ability. And while you're busy doing this, if you need any assistance, I am there to offer you assistance. This section of my lesson should take 15 minutes. At the end of which, I will be doing my exit ticket. My exit ticket should take 5 minutes. And I will be asking the children to, on a piece of paper, quickly define for me what you think a service is in your own words, and give me 3 quick examples. Then write your name on the piece of paper, leave it on your desk, and you're welcome to leave when the bell goes. And that is my lesson.